Everybody, Brian Bush, Top Crop Alliance, come to you on the last day of June, June 30th. It's a warm one, but you know that already. Looking back over the past May and June here, it's been wet. Here's a couple examples of rainfall totals from different spots. Everyone's is different, but just use these as a guide to just reassure yourself we've had too much rainfall. So what happens when we have a wet May and wet June? Well, number one, roots are shallower than you expect them. Roots will not grow into saturated conditions. So as the roots are down there, we probably have shallower rooted corn and soybeans than we would like to see. Number two, residual herbicides are probably gone. When you have heavy rainfall events, the residual herbicides work by putting a layer down and keeping seeds from germinating. Rainfall pushes that down. So we probably have soil at the top there that's not being protected. I could expect to see a new flush of weeds coming through in the coming weeks here. Number three is nitrogen loss. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Here's a great screenshot from Eric Snodgrass. He puts out an agricultural weather update. He had this chart in there that showed that we probably have lost somewhere between 20 and 50 pounds of nitrogen for your corn, depending on when you apply it, the form, etc. That's troubling to think about. Next one's foliar diseases. When you have a wet June like this, plenty of humidity right now, it shouldn't surprise us. We're starting to see some diseases start up. We may need to be spraying our corn maybe before we get to brown silk this year, depending on how the diseases start popping in your area. For soybeans, I think we're still 2 weeks off till we get to that 15 nodes plus R3. So probably middle of July for that. Big takeaways though. This crop has all the moisture it needs for right now. That will change. We will be dry at some point. But I've talked to many of you that have said, hey, my crops look pretty good. If you're in that camp, you're saying, you know what, maybe I've got some money to invest in this crop to keep it looking good, I would definitely consider fungicides. Fungicide on the corn. We still have the fungicide timing trial. If you're interested, reach out to me. I'd love to enroll you in that so we can kind of figure out when the model says to spray versus when you think you ought to spray. See what that tells us. Love to help you out with that. But I think corn fungicide is going to be very important to us. Soybeans as well, given what we're finding out here. Number two, if you've got additional dollars and you're concerned about nitrogen loss, you got that top yield potential field, I think supplemental nitrogen may be a possibility. We're short. So how can we address that? Everybody has different situations here. If you got questions on that, reach out. Love to kind of work through that scenario and see what we can do. Looking in July, at some point, my forecast says it's going to cool down, which will change things. But at least right now, corn, gray leaf spot is loving this weather. Southern West isn't close yet, but the cooler weather, northern leaf blight, tar spot like that. So I think foliar diseases are going to be here before we know it. Soybeans, we're getting some reports of frog eye being around, definitely insect feeding. So there's still management to take place in these crops. If you have the budget to put it in there, I think you'll be handsomely rewarded if we can manage these diseases and potentially even managing our nitrogen loss. Hope that helps. Just a peek into the mind of Bush as we head into the month of July here. As always, reach out with any questions you have.